On this episode of My Last Two Brain Cells.
Oh my gosh, you guys, my heart is like racing even making this episode because it just feels like such... It feels like a weight off my shoulders, but it is very bittersweet. And you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to
My Last Two Brain Cells.
I'm your host, Maddi Morris.
And I am also your host, Elliot Morris.
And oh my gosh, besties, we have a life update for you. This episode is going to have a very big life update that is both business and personal related.
We're having a baby.
No, we're not.
No,
Elliot,
I'm
don't
just joking.
joke with the people.
Okay, no, but everyone was thinking it. Everyone was thinking it, so I wanted them to know before. I wanted them to know that it wasn't that.
Literally every single person in my life, anytime I have something to say, they're like,
anytime we have an announcement that you're pregnant.
A little light heart.
A little. Everyone says that. Why is that the thing everyone goes to?
Funny.
A little light heart.
No.
You guys gonna have a little light heart?
Everybody says that.
It's true.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Well, I'm actually so nervous to make this episode. Like, I truly feel a little nervous because it just finally feels like I'm telling them something that I've been waiting months, if not a whole year, to tell them.
It's crazy. It's true.
It is crazy. Well, you guys, I am no longer a full-time lash artist.
Period.
Can you...
Ah.
Can you believe I am Lightheart as it exists is no longer a service-based business?
Nah. Check the website. Do you see a book button? No, you don't.
No book and link,
There
babes.
is none. Doesn't exist. It's gone.
Elliot and I, over the course of the last over a year, have made the difficult but necessary decision for our business going forward and our personal life for me to stop taking clients full time. And if you know me, you know that I have never just been a lash artist. I have been a very, very busy lash artist. Like,
been a busy bee.
I have been a busy bee. And even when we moved into the building, I was still, lashing
Full time,
almost every single day between training. And let me just say, I love lashing. I love physically lashing.
True.
And we're going to get into a lot of the reasons. We have a list of everything I want to cover because I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions because I do own a lash company.
We've seen the comments on Facebook every time anyone's like, I'm no longer accepting new clients. 50 ladies with, I'm sure, good intentions are like, you are throwing away your career. You're not accepting new clients. I give you 1 year until you're irrelevant.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, anytime I tell people, like, for the last year, I've told people I'm no longer accepting new clients. I'm just taking an exclusive clientele. Like, people have been pretty, mean to me and being like, basically, you should take clients.
Specifically me.
Yeah, people are either like, why don't you take clients? Closing your books ruins your business. You should raise your prices. I am the highest priced lash artist in the state of Arizona.
Yeah.
That's fully booked. And
at some point,
you
don't want to raise your
I'm
prices
uncomfortable
anymore.
raising my prices anymore.
It would be weird to be charging people $350 every 2 weeks.
I didn't want to raise my prices more, and it wasn't about money for me. But it, I was taking an exclusive clientele for the last year where I just serviced 25 clients. Like, that was my day job.
Love them.
And
love those clients.
And I love them with all of my heart.
That was the hardest part, honestly. It wasn't the like taking clients. It was the fact that they were all so nice.
Yeah.
They were all so great.
Basically, I mean, don't listen to what anyone says. Do what's best for your business. And I was always like, well, you're not in my business. And for me, I don't want to raise my prices more. I wanted to service the exclusive clientele that I had. My price point had nothing to do with it, although I was like paid very, very well as a lash artist.
Which is great.
And I... you don't have to listen to everyone's opinions. And this is an opinion that has to do with my business and my life. And so let's talk about it because you guys feel like my friends.
Yeah, this is just where we hang out.
So what I wanted to talk about for this episode, it might be a longer one, is I wanted to talk about leverage, what leverage is, why business is all about leverage. And then I wanted to get into what life looks like now. You might be thinking like, well, what is your day-to-day job now? I also want to chat about how my clients took it, how I talked about it, how this decision played out, because it took a month. I started on February 1st telling my first client that I'm no longer going to be taking clients.
And that was rough.
And it's the end of February now, and I just finished taking my last client and letting them know. So this took a whole month to play out. And then I want to talk a little bit about what I've learned in the process and kind of just let you know that your business should evolve and change if it's a great business.
Yes.
It will naturally, if your business is succeeding, if your business is thriving, you have to pivot sometime and you have to go where your business is taking you.
Amazon was just a bookstore.
It was.
But now, look at it.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to chat a little bit about leverage and what leverage is and why business is all about leverage.
I think that's a very poignant topic.
Yeah. Chat about it, Elliot.
Oh, you want me to?
I do.
Okay.
'Cause
So
this episode is kind of like, it's a Maddi life update. And so
Yeah.
I'd like you to have some part of it.
Okay. I mean, I did suggest this part because I think it's very relevant to where we're at in the business right now. There's this book that is like a biography of Naval Ravikant, who's this he's a very successful investor in Silicon Valley, like angel investor, does startups, that sort of thing. And he has this very good quote where he talks about how in business, so all big business, like once you get past like individually taking clients or individually like offering a service, all business ends up just being different types of leverage that you're using. So Naval Ravikant talks about how there are 4 different types of leverage. There's labor, where you are leveraging the labor of someone else in order to accomplish a goal. There's capital, where you're leveraging your money that you have in order to put that money into assets that will generate more money coming back to you. There is technology, which is where, you write a piece of code that then can be copied and used by thousands and thousands of people, like Facebook, for example. It's just a bunch of code that they wrote one time and then it can then be used by everyone on earth. And then there's media, which is where which is like this, where we make this video one time and then we're able to communicate with thousands of people through that one time of us making video. Whereas if we were to try and do that in person, it would be having, thousands of one-on-one conversations, or it would be having hundreds of small, like intimate group conversations. By us using this media allows us to get this information and talk to so many more people than we would be able to just, talking in person. So those are like the 4 types of leverage. And
What's the Naval Ravikant quote?
Oh, that was it. Is that he
okay.
said there were 4 different types of leverage. Those are the types of leverage.
Yeah.
But so in our business, we have started to get to the point where in order to grow, we have to start implementing those types of leverage, because Madison has run into not having enough hours in the day. If she wanted to just keep lashing forever, there would be a cap to like how big the business could get and how much money she can make through it. And that cap is, okay, what's the most that you feel comfortable charging and that the market could even support? Because like, even if she is like fully booked, like everyone wants to see her, there is a cap. Like no one's going to be willing to pay $1,000 a fill. Obviously the cap's way below that, but just for an example. And then she's also capped by how many hours in a day she can lash. And then there's like another more long-term cap of how many years can you keep lashing all day, every day before, you just burn out and your hands give out and your back just hurts forever. And you have to really keep that in mind with like, okay, we want this to be a business that lasts for a really, really long time and impacts a lot of people. So we got to the point where we were running into, okay, Madison needs to be doing higher leverage activities. She needs to be employing one of these 4 types of leverage, where that's the only way that we can like continue to push the business forward.
It sounds like I'm a science experiment. You're like, how can we extract the parts of Madison's
Lighthearted
brain?
is just Elliot figuring out how to extract the value out of Madison. I'm like, we have not optimized Madison's value extraction
I'm
enough.
just the talent, and Elliot's
No,
just
she
like,
is.
And Elliot's just like my manager and his villain
No,
headquarters.
that's literally what we said yesterday. So we were on a Lashcast with our besties,
Our new friends.
the Lubers, and when we were on there, we were talking about how like they were asking like what our relationship was like, and we said like I have like the strategic vision for the company, and like I like have all these ideas for what I want to do, and then Madison's like the talent,
and I'm a slave.
No. So I think if we were to like formalize our titles, I think that
we don't have formal titles because we're just like
our titles are husband and wife.
Our titles are bestie boobas.
Bestie and booba. Those are our titles.
Yes.
But if we had to formalize it, I think our titles would really be like you would be the chief operating officer of the company. Like you're running it. You're getting the things done that need to get done. You're creating the actual product.
Yeah.
Which is the product is like your education. And then I would be like the CEO, the chief like executive officer, which like if you formalize that title, that's the person in charge of the strategic vision of the company, which like I know everyone loves to have CEO in their bio. And it's like kind of cringed out at this point, and like it's just been overused to the point where it like doesn't mean anything. But if you look at like the actual definition, it's the person who is in charge of making like the long-term decisions for the company.
In layman's terms, I am the Kardashians and Elliot is Kris Jenner.
am exactly. Honestly, I like that more. I'm Chris. Madison is
Courtney,
Kylie.
Kim, and
Courtney, Kim, and Kylie.
Chloe and Kylie and Kendall. And oh my gosh, you guys, my heart is like racing even making this episode because it just feels like such. It feels like a weight off my shoulders, but it is very bittersweet, and it's been a very difficult personal and professional decision. I want to talk a little bit about what our life looks like after making this big decision and during. So for the last, I'd say 2 years, as you guys have seen, our business has grown exponentially, and it's grown past my capabilities. Like I only have so many hours in the day, and as you guys know, I don't like to do things half-assed. I like to, really like focus on quality and do things well. And the hard part is I love what I do. And when you love what you do and you also love to work, like I love physically working. I physically worked since I was able to work. I love physically working, and I love lashing, and I love my clients. Like I don't have any clients that are just clients to me. They're all friends at this point.
That's true.
I was actually like bawling my eyes out the first client that I told this to. But in the last year, as you guys have seen, Elliot and I own, manage, operate all of the daily operations that come along with owning a salon suite. We kind of are behind the scenes more with the coffee shop, but we still, like have the coffee shop, and obviously we co-own it with our best friends and they kind of do everything. But having this building has brought on so much responsibility and little daily tasks that you don't hear about or see. I was taking full days of clients, like 10 to 6, teaching. In the last year, I was teaching 1 to 3 private trainings a week, and now we've broken it down into 8 students a month in a group class. I've been creating digital products and selling them, doing the podcast. I had a job with a big lash brand where I was traveling and teaching. I was a retailer doing product pickup. I had like 3 to 5 girls a day coming by for product pickup orders. What else was I doing?
You were responding to 5,000 DMs every day.
I respond to well over
100.
Over 100 DMs a day.
Over 100 every day.
While I lash. I have my phone open while I lash every client.
You
and
were
never
selling
goes off.
charcuterie boards.
No.
No,
but I mean, I've played a lot of roles, and I think the educator role, especially if you are an educator, you understand the amount of time and effort and energy and sacrifice that takes. Because that, even if I was training even 2 or 3 times a week, it was absolutely exhausting the other days that I'm taking clients. So my social life took a big hit. I remember like every Christmas or time I went home to see family, like I would be constantly distracted, constantly worrying about getting people in. I couldn't take any sick days. God forbid I ever got hurt or sick, anything like that. So and then in the last year we did the build out, which took a year, and it has really spread me very thin behind the scenes. And
what's really interesting is I was talking to our friend Wyatt about this. And he's doing his MBA right now at Wharton so it's like a master's of business administration. It's like it's like a advanced business degree. It's the degree that people get before they go into like upper management for companies, that sort of stuff. And I was talking to him about like what he wants to do. And one of the things he was looking into doing was there's this thing called ownership through acquisition, which is where you basically become an owner of a company by purchasing the company from someone else. And it's like a commonly done thing. And he was talking about how one of the things that people commonly do when they're doing ownership through acquisition is they will look at a business and they will look at the profit centers of the business, and then they will reallocate the resources from every non-profit center into the profit centers, and they'll like increase the revenue of the business, and then they can like flip it and leave and then go buy another business. So what that means in like plain like human English is basically someone will come into the business. This is like, say they buy a business that's doing all right, and they're like, I think I can make this business do way better, and then I could sell it for like twice as much as I bought it for in 2 years or something. So they'll go into the business, they'll purchase it, and then they'll look at the business. They'll say, okay, what is our profit centers? A profit center is what are the things that are actually getting us the majority of our revenue compared to the amount of resources that we're putting into
and why?
Yeah,
why is that our profit center?
Exactly. Which parts of this business are giving us the biggest return on our investment? What parts of the business are giving us the biggest ROI? And then they will look at, okay, what are the parts of the business that aren't really giving us as much ROI? And then they'll just cut all the stuff, cut off all the chaff. It's like how when you want a tree to grow, you'll prune the small branches in order to let the big branches grow.
Yeah.
And they'll cut off all the stuff that's like not necessary, all the stuff that, and a lot of business owners have trouble cutting off that stuff because they're like, oh, like I work so hard for our roofing division, and it does good, and like it makes some money, it's not losing money, so we keep it around. But it's like, okay, but you have this other thing that's making way more money. So this person will come in, they'll cut off all the stuff that's not making most of the money, and then reallocate all the resources into the one thing that's making money, and then it'll expand that way more. And so like we were looking at our business and we're like, okay, we're doing all these things.
Before we talk emotions, let's talk about just like the why, the business. And
so we were looking at all these things that like you were doing, like doing the retail, teaching for other brands, like all these things that like, yeah, they weren't losing us money, but like the amount of money that we were making from, for example, selling retail was less than 5% the money that we were making from selling digital products. So it's like,
but
okay,
I was spending an hour a day
coordinating product pickups,
and meeting with customers and doing product knowledge chats.
Exactly. And it's like that's the kind of thing where it's like you don't think about it. Like most business owners aren't going to think about it because it's not losing money. You're making money on it, and that's what a business is for. But then if you really step back and you're looking like, for the amount of time that I'm putting into this and the amount of resources I'm putting into this, is this getting the enough of a return in order to make it worth my time? And so that's what we really had to look at and be like, okay.
So we started, so about last winter, we started trimming the small branches of our business. And the small branches were, one, I cut out retail, stopped selling to people, stopped doing product pickup, and then I stopped doing, 2, my private trainings, because that took up so much of my life. Was private trainings, and I loved them. And and also all this stuff had a season. All of this stuff I loved with all of my heart and did it for the season, and I finished it out strong. And I was burnt out last winter finishing I was burnt out. My students knew it. They probably didn't, but I was burnt out.
They couldn't tell,
but boy, was I burnt out. I was teaching September of last year.
No, June or July of last year, you had 17 trainings?
Yeah, but last September, I had 17 private students, remember?
Yeah, insane.
And I even was grouping some of them together into multiple days because I like physically couldn't do it with my clientele. But I was like, listen, this is for a season. This is for a reason, a season.
But then no more.
But then after that, no one to hold them, no one to fold them, baby. And so we were trimming the little branches. I stopped doing private training, stopped doing retail. I left my job with a big brand traveling and training. What else did I let go?
Retail.
That was it. And then the final thing really, so the profit center of our business, to be quite transparent with you, is our digital education.
Absolutely.
Is the products we create. That is what, we could basically live off of. And so I want, and also it means so much to me that we're able to reach and help so many people through those.
Well, that's the thing. The reason it's the profit center is because it is what's providing the most amount of value to people.
Absolutely. And, Elliot and I, if just to get really deep, Elliot and I, our whole life is just surrounded. Our whole purpose is just to serve people and help others with however we can. And for us, we were placed in the lash industry, in the beauty industry of all things.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? And, I've had so much amazing reach with my in-person trainings, but once we, started the digital trainings, I kind of fell into it by accident. We have reached more people than we could have ever dreamed of. And the products that I've made in my downtime at midnight, I've never actually sat down at a coffee shop and just been able to write and write and write and write and make ebooks and manuals. It's all been in very small pockets of time. Just as kind of a little passion project to help more people.
I think every ebook or manual until now has been written between the hours of 9 p.m. and like 2 a.m.
1,000,000%. Like Elliot will be in bed, and if I'm like, oh my gosh, this could help someone, I'm going to write about it.
Yep.
And at this point, because it's what the people want, it's what's reaching and helping the most people, just organically, even before we even started running professional ads. The organic reach has been huge on it, and I really want to pour my efforts and energy into helping others and creating education that's accessible to everyone all over the world. Like, I want to create video courses, I want to create business courses, I want to create the best of the best, like world's best artistry and styling courses online. Like anything that currently exists and doesn't exist, I want to make 10 times better and more accessible to people. And so that is kind of where I'm going to be focusing my efforts this year. And I'm really excited about that. And same with the podcast. Like, our podcast obviously makes no money, but this is something where we can reach a lot of people. We can help people.
That's all right.
That's all right. We just love you guys. And then it gives us an excuse to hang out and talk to each other for a few hours.
No, I think for the podcast, this is interesting because I was talking to our intern Mia about this. And
we have an intern.
Yeah, we have an intern, you guys. We're big time.
Is she really our intern now at this point?
I mean, I think technically.
Yeah.
We give Mia free rent in exchange for editing the podcast for us. But I was talking to her about, she was like, so how much money do you guys make on the podcast? I'm like, Mia, we make $0 from the
0
podcast.
cents.
But I see the podcast as like a long-term play.
Yeah.
It's like, I think the benefit of us, being able to just talk to people in this industry and like
openly and honestly
and build like real relationships with people. That's
longer than just like a minute reel.
Because you can't communicate with people. People can't see your personality. They can't you can't get anything done in a reel, But like the podcast, I think it's a really nice way that we can like, connect with the people who like started out following you on Instagram and like. And I think it's great. And
it's been amazing because I have so much to say about a lot of things. And a lot of the time when I get, 100-something DMs a day, people have very legitimate pains and concerns and questions. Like, they need help and they're reaching out to someone that can help them. And instead of me sending them 50 voice memos, which I have, been doing for years, I can just say, oh my gosh, we made a whole episode on this for you. And I send them the link and they're like,
it's so much better.
And it's so much better because they feel like they're talking to a friend. All of their questions are answered in long format. And it's really reaching the right people. So
long story short, we do the podcast because we love you guys.
Because we love you. So that is why. And then I wanted to talk about kind of the long game and my personal decision to stop being a service-based business. And the personal side of it is I'm 24 years old and I've been lashing for close to 8 years now, full time. I have never done lashing as a side hustle. It has always been too much at times. And I know that we only get one life, and the sustainability is everything in this career. Longevity is everything. You got to play the long game. And for me to keep lashing and enjoy lashing, I needed to step out of that service-based role. And being young and being, in my mid-20s, like, I really wanted to start a life kind of outside from outside of the lash room. And I honestly don't really have that fully.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it has really impacted like just our flexibility. I think is one of the biggest things is that like we can't plan to do things
We can't go on a trip
we've
longer.
had to say no to so many things just because you haven't had the flexibility in your schedule to move anything around. It's
and I take my schedule very seriously.
yeah.
Like, I don't like
Absolutely.
moving people around. I don't like I don't ever want to feel, even with my clients being so close to me, I still never want them to feel like they're not my top priority.
Absolutely.
And
that's the way it should be.
To be a luxury service provider and to be at such a high price point, that also comes with a responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people think, well, I want to charge this, well, I want to charge that. And I'm like, well, you have to be prepared to sacrifice a lot because those people are now expecting a level of service that goes beyond just lashing.
It's true.
You know, I'm not only charging for my skill and my time, I'm also charging with being the most reliable service provider they can see. A lot of people, you know, my clients are like, well, you're just so reliable.
Yeah.
You know?
Never, I think the majority of your clients, you've never rescheduled or canceled on them ever.
I've never canceled on a client.
None of them? Never?
Canceled on a client?
You've never been like just so sick? Have you never? That's crazy. That's crazy.
If I'm sick.
Madison was one of those psychos in high school that never missed a day.
No.
I was the opposite. I missed once a week.
Honestly, and I don't recommend this at all. I'm not recommending this, but I have felt such a responsibility to these people, and also my schedule has not accommodated me to move people around.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, like, if I do have to take a sick day, it's more of a nightmare for me to try to figure it out because I had too many clients, and I couldn't move them. So it's been hard. And like even last Christmas, I cracked my ankle and I was on crutches and I couldn't drive and all the things. Christmas Eve, guys, I was lashing with my foot on a bar stool elevated while I was lashing. And my friend was going out and greeting all my clients for me because I couldn't walk. My foot was just black on this bar stool.
It was wild.
Like, and I don't recommend that at all, but obviously, you know, there was a time in my life that I'm so grateful for because I was like, look, I'm young, I'm able-bodied, you know, I have big dreams and I want to be able to pay for them. I want the independence, and I was willing to make those sacrifices early on. So I'm so grateful that that's what lashing gave me. I don't regret any of it at all because it was able to pay for the build out. It was able to like pay for our amazing life that we have and like fund all these amazing dreams. And it gave me so much independence, but also there's a lot of sacrifice that comes along with it. And I want everyone to see, like, I'm not just some overnight success, remote CEO, you know, whatever. A lot came with it and a lot of sacrifice had to be made. And so for my personal life, I'm really, really fine. And my clients are so happy for me. Like, I'm really so excited and relieved to feel a little more flexibility where I can make my own schedule truly. Like, people always say, oh, last year just make their own schedule. No, we don't. Like, sure, you can pick what days of the week you want to work, but like, if you're fully booked, you know, you have a responsibility. And you're your own boss, and that means that you should act like a boss and show up, you know, ready to go. And so I'm really excited to have some flexibility. I'm like, I'm craving like seeing my family for Christmas and not being so stressed out and stressing everyone out. Like, I got to get home at this time. If my flight is delayed, my world will fall apart.
Oh yeah,
like,
last Christmas or Christmas before last, our flight was like
our flight got
canceled. And
guys,
so
I had a panic
she had a
attack. I had a meltdown.
It was so bad
And
because she's like, I have 6 clients tomorrow.
I was literally, guys,
at 8 a.m.
Guys, I would get off the plane at like 8 a.m. and I would go to work at like 9:45, like not even come home and
Don't
shower.
be like Madison.
Yeah, and
don't do that.
Yeah, and were there certain times I could have been more lenient on myself? Yes, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. I don't think you should ever like work yourself, you know, to that level, but also like I was in more of a sensitive situation because I was paying, you know, I had hundreds of thousands of dollars we had to pay to a contractor at that time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, if you're going to take...
I really got to take these clients.
You know, so if you're in a situation where like you have a lot to pay for, like a lot of risk, or you bought a building or something, like, yeah, you know, okay, sometimes you got to pick up the pace. But I'm at a point in my life where I am ready to calm down and focus on my life and my time with Elliot and enjoy life with my husband. And like, we got married young. I'd like to enjoy it, you know? And so we're taking a month off. We're going to Italy in August, baby. We have a vacation pretty much every month this year.
I can't wait.
And I'm finally saying yes to opportunities I would have always said no to. We're doing like speaking events and travel trainings and seeing family, going on trips with friends. We're even going on a trip in a week. We're going to San Diego.
That's in a week?
Yeah. Do you know what we're doing in San Diego?
What are we doing?
We're just going to a flower field and we're going to frolic around the flower fields in Carlsbad. Like, I'm just so
Watch out.
excited to feel
Alive again.
just feel balanced,
Yeah.
you know,
Balance.
and not stressed. Like, I have neglected so much of my life, to be honest, you guys, be perfectly honest. Like, I haven't gone to the doctor since I was a junior in high school.
Yeah, that is true. It's probably not the best.
Yeah, I just have really been my whole life.
That's the real reason you're not taking clients, is so you can finally get a checkup.
Girl, I need a checkup. Yeah, I mean, there has been so, like, lashing has been the best thing I've ever done. Like, getting into lashes and being a lash artist.
For sure.
I only worked so hard because I loved it so much.
Well, and you're still lashing.
Here's the thing, guys. I'm still lashing a little bit.
Come on.
I'll talk about that. So, what our life looks like now, I'm going to be more of a remote CEO, if that's a term for it. I'm a digital nomad.
Yeah, she's gonna be a digital nomad.
Yeah, I am gonna
catch us in Bali this time next year.
I'm gonna be full-time creating courses. So I'm gonna be creating amazing digital products, like the best of the best manuals, training guides, and then later on this year we're gonna be coming out with somewhat of
an advanced business baddie program.
Yeah, stay tuned. We can't chat about it much, but Elliot and I are working together to create a lot of great advanced online training material.
Yes.
That requires a lot of us. It's a full-time job.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to be content creating more. I'm going to be creating really great new products, focusing on my in-person trainings, saying yes to travel opportunities. So if you're a salon and you want me to come.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's going to Montana.
Maybe.
Yeah,
we're chatting about it.
Might be going to Montana.
Yeah.
Do a big salon.
I'm excited to.
If you own a big salon and you want the best training in the entire world
I'll come
for your salon, hit us up.
Yeah, that is what our life is going to look like. And lash-wise, full transparency, I will still be servicing 6 clients. Not clients.
They're not clients.
I'm just going to be servicing 6 of our renters / my bestest friends out of my home.
Yep.
And that's just people like Mariah, who works at the coffee shop, Katie, our trainer,
Mia, our intern,
our employee, and some of the renters. That's literally it, just so I can keep my skills up, get content, and spend time with my friends.
And also because you see them every day, and we would hate for them to just be moping every day.
Yeah, and I didn't want to take no clients. I just needed to step out of my.
We needed to get it to 1 day a week.
We needed to get it to 1 day a week.
It needed to be 1 day a week, and now 6 clients is 3 clients a day.
Yeah, and
once a week.
And I mean they're just my close friends. That's really it. Just people that I, work in or for or around Lightheart, and I'll be taking probably about 1 model set a week. So I'll be lashing like 2 days a week. And for model sets, I'm just going to be like getting course content if I'm filming a course. So I will still,
all of them,
so I will still be lashing, but I'll be lashing like 25, 30 hours a month rather than 8 hours a day. And
Wonderful.
So that keeps me in the game. I'm getting a really cute, bougie home setup.
Can't wait.
I'm very excited.
We are pumped.
I want to talk a little bit about how my clients took it, because obviously I am very close with my clients and I love my clients. I mean, you guys know how I talk about my clients on my Instagram. I'm never just like, my client. I'm like, my pretty sweetie angel princess beautiful baddie clients. Like, they're just my favorite people in the world. And I've curated over the years such a respectful, kind clientele that not only cares about our professional relationship, but they really care about me and Elliot's life. And I love them all to pieces. And so it was a heartbreaking thing to tell them, but we got through it. And I decided to tell them individually, one by one, at their appointments in February. And I saw all my clients within the span of that month. And we actually had been planning this for about a good year.
Yeah.
about
yeah,
a year. Because when we opened the building, I remember Elliot and I were on a walk, and Elliot was like, okay, now that we've opened the building, like, you are being pulled in so many directions. You need to consider not taking clients anymore. Like, it was actively hurting our business, and it was
And Madison was like, how dare you do this to me? I have worked my entire life to have a full clientele of nice people who are nice to me and also charge high prices.
That's why it was so hard, because I'm like, well, I've spent, the last 2 years living in Arizona, like, building an amazing clientele like this, and it was so
hard.
And
then as soon as it was built, I'm here like, get rid of it. You don't need it.
So I said, you know what, Elliot? I understand that. I understand that this isn't where the business is going and all this stuff, and I needed to be needed in other areas. And so I said, listen, just as an emotional decision, which when you're husband and wife, you have to honor those emotional decisions.
That's
not
true.
everything's business. And I said, Elliot, just as an emotional decision, I understand it's not in the best interest of the business, but I need to take clients full time in my beautiful suite for 1 year, because we had built this gorgeous building with a private, beautiful, bright suite for me.
It's perfect.
And I was like, just let me show up to work and take my clients for a year. And Elliot honored that, and he said, sounds good.
It's like, you know what? That's reasonable.
I did my thing.
I didn't even tell her to do them this February. I said,
Yeah, it happened naturally.
I was like, you can wait until April.
Yeah.
Because that's when we opened.
It actually happened naturally. And at the start of the month, we had state board come in and do state board checks.
Oh, yeah. That was so funny. That was kind of the impetus, wasn't it?
It was how it happened. So I had a client on my bed, and state board lady came in. So I'm chatting with her because it was the first time she'd visited the building. And so I was like, trying to butter her up a little bit. And I was like, you want a coffee? She got a coffee. And then I was like, you want the tour? And I gave her the tour. And then I was like, you want to meet the girls? And I had her meet everyone. And we were just like getting on this lady's good side. And as she was like checking all my boxes off, she was asking me about our education programs, because she knows that we're like a training academy here. And she was asking me, she was like, well, are you going to be service providing going forward? Because I know how busy you are educating. And I slipped out because I was having such good conversation with the state board lady. I said, oh, no, I'm not going to be service providing for much longer. And then I was like, oh, no, my client's on the bed. And she heard that.
Her client on the bed, like.
Yeah, truly. And so when she left, I was like, hey, so I have something to tell you. And my client goes, you're not going to be lashing much longer. And I go, no.
Yeah.
And she was like, girl, we all know it's fine.
Girl,
and
we
I
knew it was coming.
Started crying, you guys. I was literally bawling my eyes out. I was so sad because it felt like it was real in that moment, because that was the first time I had ever said that, even though I had been thinking about it for a year. And my client just goes, and she was sad, she goes, Maddi, it is okay. Like, we all knew, like, there was no reason for you to be like pulled in all these different directions.
Why
and, like,
are you taking me?
So I'm crying. I'm bawling my eyes out.
She's crying.
Finishing
You're
her
crying.
lashes. Yeah. Her lashes are just shock curing because my tears are just like dripping on her face. And my client was just so kind about it. She was like, I understand, like, you whatever, love you so much. You're the best. It was nothing but positive. And it was sad. And then the next client came in, and I was like, you know what? Now we're on a roll.
Ripping off the Band-Aid.
And I was like, and what's the worst that could happen? Like, all my clients care about me, and they know my life.
That's
and
true.
They see me running around like a chicken with my head cut off every day and not sleeping. And so I started telling one by one all my clients, and they all took it extremely well. They all were like, we support you, we support your business, like, we just we're happy for you. And also it softened the blow that we had the other lash artists in the suites that I was able to refer them to.
Yeah, you could just say, go see Erica.
So,
she's a doll.
Yeah, so if anyone is in a similar situation, where if you're in a similar situation ever, refer back to this episode, and I'll kind of tell you how I worded it. So I tried experimenting with telling them at the end of the service, the beginning, and during. And I told most of them at the end, but I actually found it easier to tell them in the beginning. So the easiest ones was when they first came in, before they lay down, I said, hey, I have some really bittersweet news to tell you. And then they're like, what? And then I would say, I'm no longer going to be lashing. I'm no longer going to be taking clients. And all of them pretty much had the same reaction. They all were like, oh my gosh, I understand. That's so crazy, And then it gave us that whole 2 hours to talk about it without it being rushed.
To process the trauma.
The 5 stages of grief, yeah.
Yeah, you had 2 hours to go through all 5 stages.
Denial, whatever.
They said, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not doing it.
And it all went very well. It was very, very hard. Honestly, there was not one client where my heart wasn't absolutely pounding. And we got through it, and no one even really had questions. Like, if anything, it was me just oversharing and them just being like, we understand, like, thank you for taking us this long, like, whatever. And then I would always say, and lash-wise, you're taken care of. I have ladies in the building that are expecting you on their books in 2 weeks, that are more than happy to have a consultation with you and are just so stoked to see you and are going to take great care of you. And I also let my clients know, like, they can see whoever they want, but I had previously match made them to each person that I thought would be a better personality fit, a better lash fit, because there's different things for different people.
Different strokes for different folks, am I right?
I hate that saying. I hate that saying. But yeah, so I match made them to ladies in the building who I obviously, trust and love with all my heart. And this building is filled with truly, like, my bestest friends. And so it was an easy lash transition because I knew that I would see them multiple times a month in the building, and it's nice because now I come into the coffee shop. My clients are sitting waiting for their appointment. We can catch up for 30 seconds, It's nice. And a lot of my clients, because they're missing their appointments, they've been DMing me their life updates.
Aww.
And it's really sweet because I feel like I'm still included. I'm still part of their life. And that was, for me, the hardest thing, was not being able to be a part of their life when I happened for, 2.5 years. So they all took it extremely well. There was nothing negative there. I think like maybe 2 out of 30 of them were like a little surprised, but then it was like hugs and, whatever. And I've, been fully transparent. I'm like, if you see me around here for the next few weeks, I'm finishing up a few clients that are, they have weddings and babies and birthdays coming up. Like some of my clients are about to get married or give birth and have a birthday.
Like, okay,
I'm not going to dump them before their wedding day. So if you see me, lashing in my room for the next few months, I'm either taking a model for a course or I'm just lashing someone until they have a big event, because I would like to do that. And I want to chat a little bit about what we've learned in this process, because this has been a growing pain for our business. What have you learned, Elliot? Any lessons? Before we start, can I just say, doesn't Elliot's outfit look so swaggy today? Doesn't he look so cute, you guys? Give him a fit check. Where's your fit from, Ellie?
Right, we got the shoes from
Ooh,
Madison Morris special Christmas 2023.
I get Elliot new sneakies for Christmas every year.
Very cute.
And every time he's out and about and someone's like, I like your shoes, bro, he's like, my wife got them for me.
Thank you. My wife got them for me. My mom got them for me. The pants, the real ones will know, are from Brandy Melville.
Girl.
The best sweatpants on earth.
Everyone at Lightheart, if you come in this building, everyone in here is wearing Brandy sweatpants.
Everyone's got Brandy's.
They're the
best. They're $30 and they're like the best cut. They're so good. One size fits literally everyone. The zip up is also Brandy Melville. I was going to buy the sweatpants and then I saw this and I'm like, it's oversized. It's for me.
I think you look mad cute today.
Thanks, honey.
Just saying.
And then the t-shirt is from Target. It's Goodfellow. It's a good white tee. Good basics. And then the socks are from Costco.
Okay.
And the wife is in the ring is from Madison. And the headphones are from B&H.
Okay.
And the hair tie is from Target.
Guys, Elliot and I's scrunchie collection.
And the underwear are from Patagonia.
Okay. It's so funny. Like, Elliot and I both have long hair, and so our scrunchie collection is.
Madison always steals my scrunchies.
Elliot always steals my scrunchies.
I incorrect.
It's a
it goes one way, and it goes from me to her.
Our home is a scrunchie circle of life.
It's a scrunchy line of life. They start off with me, and then they slowly all go towards Madison, and then who knows where they go after
Everyone's
that.
like, what do you guys argue about scrunchies?
Scrunchies, honestly.
If you wanna
I'm like,
know.
Madison, where are my scrunchies? Why are they always gone?
And why do you throw everything away, Madison?
Yeah, I just see scrunchies in the trash can.
Sorry, I
want
a clean, streamlined, organized home. Okay, so
yes, where were
last thing was, what lessons have we learned through this process? Because going from being a service-based business to being a we girl bossed too close to the sun, for lack of a better word. We girl bossed too close to the sun.
So close. And our wings are melting.
And there's no going back.
There's no going back.
No. So what have you learned?
I've learned that I don't know.
What have you learned?
What have I learned?
Yes.
What have I learned from what?
From this process of us transitioning our business from being a service-based model to being a digital model. and us working together.
You know, I've learned that one thing is that the market for digital lash education is much larger than we originally thought it was.
Yeah, period.
I think originally, like, there were so many times.
At first, I put out an ebook, and I'm like, who's going to read this?
Or like, no one's going to read this.
Everybody read it.
There were so many times when, like, we would run ads, and then they would, like, stop performing well, and I was like, okay, we've, like, run through the entire... We've exhausted the industry, and we were so wrong.
Yeah.
We were so wrong, because we, like, refreshed the creative.
People are
we,
hungry
like,
for knowledge.
There are way more lash artists. Like, because the thing is, what we're doing is inherently limited in our reach, because we are addressing our total market that we're addressing is like a subset of a subset. Like, we're looking at lash artists, which are a fairly small niche already, and then we're looking at lash artists specifically who connect with our messaging, our aesthetic, and what specifically we're trying to teach and trying to do, which is not a small percentage of lash artists. And so, like, I thought that was going to be like a couple thousand, maybe, but we're like way past that now.
There's a lot of lash artists.
The market
y'all.
is way bigger than I expected.
A lot of people that want to be lash artists.
Yeah, a lot of people. And so
they want to be us, y'all. Everyone wants to be a lash artist.
And then I also realized that I think we started off a very effective part of the market for us to address starting off was like the more advanced market with like the private trainings, the group trainings, the more advanced like manuals and stuff that we're doing. But as we learn and grow, I think we're getting to the point where we're able to make really effective digital education material for a less advanced lash artist, which I think that's also something I think we learned, is that it's harder to make products for less advanced artists.
Isn't that crazy?
And I think that is something that not a lot of people realize.
That's a big lesson I learned.
Yeah, because as we've like made stuff, it's always been easier for us to sell the stuff that's targeted towards more advanced people, and I think that's because the stuff we make for more advanced people is better.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And like beginner lash education, you could get it anywhere for a dime a dozen. And a lot of the time when people are a beginner, they don't know to seek really high quality education.
Yeah.
Like they just don't know yet. And so people that have been in the game for 5+ years, they're seeking that more advanced course. They're seeking to be challenged. And so originally we were marketing our products like the Going Independent course. Like that is truly a basic beginner course.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
that was the hardest thing for us to like market.
Hardest thing to make, market, everything. But
and
now
then we finally recently started figuring out actually how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think the biggest things that I took away from this whole process is one, longevity is the most important thing in this business.
Facts.
And
big facts.
I like that Paul and Tuscany from Lashcast are like, they're honing in more on like the long game, because that's so, and just like having a strategic, sustainable business model for you, your health, your life, your employees, whatever it is. Like the truth is, like, if I'm just not, my healthiest, happiest version of myself, where I'm balanced and fun and free, like I can't provide great classes. I can't make great products. I can't show up to the studios every day with a big smile on my face feeling good. Like, I'm just not Maddi.
You got to be happy, healthy Maddi.
You have to be healthy, happy, Maddi. And you got to realize, like, here's the thing. I think there's a season for everything. And I think that hustle culture and being booked and busy is not a bad thing, but I think it serves a purpose for a time.
Don't do it forever.
So don't do it forever.
True.
Because the whole hustle culture, like working yourself to death, taking 12 hours of clients a day, it can be very addicting if you have that kind of worker bee personality like I do, where you just like to work and you like that repetitive grind and hustle. And also with lashing, it's like an immediate gratification thing, because you're like, you can see someone's reaction right after.
It's like drugs.
It's a drug to me.
It's a hit.
Yeah, but you get addicted to like being, honestly guys, when you get good at lashing, because lashing is such a steep learning curve, when you get really great at lashing and you're just like pumping out clients every day and you have like great work and everyone's happy and there's no issues, you feel like a superhuman. Like you feel like, oh my gosh, I've finally gotten over this like 2-year hump of being bad and sucking at lashing. I'm finally the best. I'm finally so good. You get kind of addicted and caught up in that feeling. And just know that you need to be putting systems in place to be a sustainable business. Like, always aim to have very high luxury pricing and like a standardized pricing menu so that you can like provide the top-notch service without having to worry about your prices.
True.
That was always my top priority. But even when that does happen, you know, if you're still busy, be really strict about your hours and your time. And if, you know, your business takes a different direction, it's okay to pull back in certain areas, you know. So hustling and being booked and busy, all that is fine and good and great, and I can teach you how to do it, but it is for a season, it is for a period of time, and sustainability matters more. 1,000,000% sustainability matters more.
True.
Your risks matter more than being booked. Your back matters more than being booked. And also just remember that you are a person and not a robot. And you need to take care of yourself. And I think for a couple years when I first started, I definitely didn't at all.
No, that she did not.
No, I got addicted to energy drinks.
She was a Bang girl.
Guys, I was addicted to Bang energy.
She was drinking Bangs like
That's how-
every day.
No, I would literally
Not
drink a Bang
good.
at 8 a.m. and I would
Not
lash
good.
10 to 12 1-hour fills, and then I would come home and eat dinner and go to bed and
Bestie.
do it all again.
Bestie, how?
So, but you know what? It's all paid off. And
Our success today is directly attributed to those Bang energy drinks. Thank
What
you,
are-
Bang.
guys, what are in those things?
Something.
What crack are they putting in there? And yeah, so if you see me walking around and I just look a little brighter, a little glowier, that's why. Anything else to add, Elliot?
No, I think you did a wonderful job.
Thank you. I think my final point is please stop trying to book with me.
Don't slide out of the DMs.
With peace and love, my DMs are closed. Thank you.
Unless you want to talk to us about my last 2 brain cells, then they
Yeah.
are wide open,
Yeah.
baby.
I've really been, it's so funny. Recently, I've been so bombarded with messages like, how can I book? Where's your booking link? Booking went away on your website.
It's like as soon as your books are closed, everyone's like, let me
No. My
in."
books aren't closed. My books are gone. My
Oh,
books
yeah,
have
that's
been
true.
closed
That's
for
true.
years.
They've been
but
closed.
My books are gone.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like, I'll get texts and phone calls. This lady called me the other day at
Oh,
like
yeah.
6 in the
It
morning.
was aggressive.
Aggressively. Give me a quote. Give me a quote. Give me a quote. I'm like,
Whoa.
whoa.
Cool your jets.
It is 6 in the morning, ma'am. I mean, be respectful of service providers always, but also, just now that if you listen to this episode, I'm taking models I'm taking models.
So if you
for
want
courses.
a light heart lash set,
It will have to be a one-time
it'll
full
have to
set.
be a model.
A one-time full set, which
So,
I'm still charging.
apply.
I'm still charging for model full sets.
I always thought that was crazy.
No, I'm still. Why?
Because it's just crazy to me that you can do that.
It's not crazy.
I love it. I support it.
Yeah.
I support it.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and pretty much everything going forward. Like, thank you so much for following along the journey and following our Instagram and supporting us, supporting our products that come out, being patient while we create things, because these things like coaching programs and mentoring and guides, like, they take a lot of work behind the scenes, or they should. And so thank you for being patient while we create a lot of really great stuff for you this year.
This year's a lot's coming out.
A lot is
We're
coming
making
out,
a lot.
and I'm just so grateful to be able to do this with Elliot, and I'm so grateful for you guys, because like we obviously couldn't do this without you guys, and it is honestly
Without you
just
specifically.
yeah.
You know who I'm talking
and just friend to friend, like, you guys feel like my friends, and just friend to friend, like, I've never felt so welcomed and like humbled to be a part of anything, and like, who knew I would have found my place in lashes. But I just love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I love my clients, and I'm like just so humbly and gratefully stepping into this new role, and I don't take it lightly. I take it very seriously, and I want our company going forward to really make a lasting impression on a lot of people's lives. And that's the other thing, is like Elliot would always say, well, you're making such a difference in 25 people's lives, but what if you can make a difference in thousands and thousands and thousands? And I'm like, I know, but it's so hard to let go and trust that. And I'm trusting the Lord's plan, because his plans are better than my own. And
True.
I'm trusting the Lord's plan that this is where I'm meant to be, and this is where I'm meant to serve in this way. So, final
Yep.
thoughts?
In conclusion,
Do you want to talk about your Utah trip?
I want to tell Utah, you guys.
Okay, so while we're doing a life update, and we just gave my whole life update, I wanted Elliot to give you a little life update, because Lightheart Elliot has been
I heart Elliot has been out on the town, baby. I heart Elliot has been living it up.
Tell the people about your life update.
So,
I cannot
as
about it.
some of you may know, none of them will know, about a year and a half ago, me and some of my friends invested in this startup called Serve. And it is, we did not invest much money. We did not invest much. It was like a couple grand. But one of my friends called me up. He's like, hey, some buddies and I, we like have this little fun together. We're investing in like this startup. It's called Serve. It's like a instead of getting catering for events, you can just book a private chef for your events, and it ends up being cheaper than getting catering.
So
because
it's like Airbnb for private
it's
chefs,
like
basically.
Airbnb for private chefs. You can hire a private chef to do meal planning for you, meal prep. Like you can hire them just for your dinners, and it's like it's a great platform. I really like it. I thought it was cool, and so we invested in this a while ago. For the last year, it has not gone very far. The ROI on our investment has not been great. However, the ROE, the return on entertainment, has been high. And so I think so far the best part about investing in this startup is that the CEO of the startup knows like so many just random people. And he called us up like a few weeks ago and was like,
such a funny story, you guys.
he was like, hey, so my friend is Kenny Smith's son. Kenny Smith played for, I think, the New York Knicks in like the 80s. My friend is Kenny Smith's son. Kenny Smith, his name, or Kenny the Jet is like his nickname. He does a charity poker tournament during the All-Star game in Utah, and Serve is going to cater that party. Do you guys want to come to the party because like I can get people on the guest list? And we were like, sure, I guess. So then we show up to Utah. At this point, show up to Utah. I do not think this is real. I think we're just going, maybe we're going skiing one day. That'll be fun. We go to the Rising Stars game because we did not get tickets to the All-Stars game because they were like $4,500 a piece.
Yeah.
And Lightheart's doing well, but it's not doing that well.
Yeah.
And I was like, nothing's going to happen. Then the night of the poker tournament, the CEO of the company is like, hey guys, here's the address. Show up at like 9 p.m. Like, just tell them your names. You're on the list. And we're like, I mean, all right, we'll show up. So
Elliot basically was at these like red carpet
we go. There's a literal red
parties
carpet
with like celebrities and investors.
They have like photographers on the red carpet taking pictures of everyone who like walks down.
Yeah.
And then I walk in and freaking, it's just all these like venture capital guys and
Look at this picture of Elliot on the red carpet, you guys.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute.
He's like, can you take a picture for my wife?
I did. That's exactly what I said. And they were like, oh my gosh, absolutely, sir. And I was like, oh, thank you. And Guy Fieri was there. So
Elliot
took
was
a
hanging
picture
out
with him.
With Guy.
I talked to him for a little bit. He was very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a super fun time. I met lots of cool people. I thought it was wild. And then
Everyone was like, whoa, is that Lightheart Elliot?
yeah, they all
From
did.
My Lash 2 Brain Cells?
From My
the
Lash 2
podcast
Brain
about
Cells?
all things lashes in life.
That is. I met Alan Iverson from the song White Iverson by Post Malone, and he said that. He's like, you're Lightheart Elliot from My Last 2 Brain. I said, yes, I am.
And who are you?
Would you like to take a picture with me, Mr. Alan Iverson? And he was like, absolutely, I would.
And
but,
he was
you
like,
know.
bro, are those Brandy Melville sweatpants? I got the same ones.
And he's like, I was influenced. And yeah, it was a great time. We had a good time. And then
I just loved it. I just loved seeing you live your very best life.
it was so fun.
You and the boys.
It was so fun. We're going to a music retreat in Jackson Hole this summer with some venture capital guys that I met.
Yeah, Elliot met a bunch of friends. I'm happy for him because he's just Elliot. Like Elliot, all of your friends are lash artists and their husbands.
That is true.
Like
That is
Elliot
true.
has no friends outside of the lash world.
Yeah. I met this really cool guy. His name was Ryan, and he's starting a wellness company that's called Love, and he has the website love.com. And I didn't even ask, but I was like, dang, that URL must have been expensive.
Yeah. So it was just cool. It was cool to see you out of your element, like networking with people that aren't
It was great.
in the lash world.
I had such a good time. I had so much fun.
Because Elliot, it's so funny. Elliot, when he talks to lash artists and their husbands, like, you just speak lash artist.
True.
You get us.
True. And then when I speak to anyone else, they're like, I don't know what a C curl is. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, it's a lash thing. You wouldn't understand.
What is a wispy map?
What is a wispy? What is a kitten eye? What is a reverse cat eye?
Madison does what?
A squirrel eye?
Like, that sounds dirty.
Ugh.
Ugh.
She has wet sets? Ugh.
Ugh.
What is that?
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah,
well,
no, it was super fun. So that was great. Highly recommend investing into a startup that goes nowhere. Oh, the best part though, I did get an ROI because
Woo.
at this party they gave out little goodie bags.
Oh, the swag bags went
The
crazy.
swag
you
bags
guys.
went hard.
Elliot gave me his haul when he came home from this trip, and it was
Insane.
crazy.
I got a watch.
Mhm.
I got a webcam, and it's like a fancy webcam.
They gave you like
a hat, a felt
they gave
hat.
you like a nice leather wallet,
A nice leather
and
wallet.
cufflinks, and an Eddie Bauer bag.
Cigars. I got
Yeah,
cigars.
It was crazy. I was like,
Yeah,
you
it was.
didn't even invest. I invested in this company.
Yeah, it was Madison's money. It was. That's true. I had no money.
Anyway, also now that we have a little more time later this summer, because I'm kind of transitioning out of lashing right now, I'm just like, taking my last couple clients and all that sort of stuff, and I'm filming a mapping course that takes up a lot of my time. But as the year goes on, I think because we'll have a little more time on our hands, we can film more podcast episodes every
Let's
week.
go.
I would love to put out like 2 or 3 episodes a week.
2 a week?
Are you kidding me?
That would go dummy hard.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think we're gonna get sick of each other?
Oh no, I didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that either.
Oh no.
Do you think we're gonna still like each other?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
We will report back
So
in
we will-
6 months.
In 6 months, we just like we're just fighting a lot on the podcast, and everyone's like, "Why are mom and dad fighting?"
Everyone listening to the podcast is like, things seem tense.
Yeah, my last 2 brain cells seemed a little tense.
Hey everyone, and welcome to my last 2 brain cells. Whatever.
I'm your
Freaking
host.
stupid.
We know you're Maddi
We
Morris.
know you're Maddi
you're
Morris.
Elliot Morris.
God,
What are we talking about today?
it's freaking something stupid. I'm sure.
Who cares?
What do you freaking have?
Okay, you guys. Well,
But until 6 months from now, we
smooches.
smooches. Bye-bye.
Bye.